Well, Molly, we're now going to go to senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram, who's on the phone with us. And Chad, there is an awful lot of planning ongoing right now, and what we expect will be President Carter's trip to the nation's capital and the Capitol Dome. What can you tell us?
Yeah, we usually expect this about 7 to 8 days after the day of death here. So President Carter, he will come and he will lie in state in the Capitol Rotunda, probably around January 6th, January 7th. I should note, Rich, that they have to approve some sort of a special resolution between the House and Senate, a concurrent resolution to allow him to lie in state. I should note that if there is a problem, say, electing a Speaker of the House, they can't do that because the House would not be functional on January 3rd. However, what happened back in late 2006 when President Ford died the day after Christmas that year, what they did was they had a letter from the Speaker of the House and the President pro tem of the Senate, and that was good enough to kind of authorize them to have President Ford lie in state, and you could also do that retroactively. There have been 34 persons who have lied in state in the Capitol Rotunda, 8 in honor. The last person to lie in state, that was Harry Reid, the Senate Majority Leader. That was in January of 2022. And you had George H.W. Bush, who was the last president to lie in state. That was in December of 18. We're starting to get also some congressional reaction here. Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, he complimented President Carter on his commitment to humanity. He said that this was his North Star for future generations of public service. House Speaker Mike Johnson said because of the work that President Carter did brokering the Camp David Accords and advocating for Habitat for Humanity, the world is a more peaceful place, and Americans have, a place to call home now. Also a comment from John Thune. He is the incoming Senate Majority Leader here in just a couple of days. He says that President Carter dedicated his life to serving the people of Georgia, rising from a peanut farmer. Mitch McConnell, the outgoing Republican leader in the Senate, the minority leader right now, said that Jimmy Carter's character and commitment, just like his crops, were the fruits of American soil. And what will probably happen, Rich, here, they will have a ceremony where he will probably lie in state for, a couple of days. This is usually what happens. The public will be allowed to come into the Capitol and circulate at regular intervals around the casket. And again, this comes at a very, different time here, a confluence of time, because you have to start the new Congress on January 3rd. They have to certify the Electoral College on January 6th. And then, of course, you have the inauguration on January 20th. And this, has nothing to do with legislating and everything else, but this is just one more factor that goes into all the different things that are happening on Capitol Hill from a security standpoint and so on. This is going to be a hectic time on Capitol Hill in the next week or two.
Now, Carter's election was also a bit of a turning point as well. He ushered in a period of governors getting elected president and stopping an era of members of Congress getting elected president, right?
Yeah, that was something that we saw after that. We saw Reagan, of course, who had been governor of California. We saw Bill Clinton. We saw George W. Bush, who, of course, had been governor of Texas. And that was something that we were starting to see more and more of. We had only ever elected 2 senators directly from the Senate to the presidency. So that was a bit of an anomaly. But you've had people who had served in other capacities before. And again, that was kind of a paradigmatic shift, as you say, talking about the South, kind of a different type of Democrat coming from the South. When he ran for governor, he was somebody who said, we need to, kind of get this racism out of the Democratic Party, be for civil rights. And that was a pivoting point. This was kind of the evolution of the Democratic Party in the South. And as he came into office, and again, and I said this to you a couple of hours ago, Rich, this period that Jimmy Carter, when he was in office, there was a lot of turbulence on the global stage. I referenced the comment from Mike Johnson talking about the accord that was signed between Israel and Egypt in March of '79. Well, some of those things have set the table for what we're dealing with today in the Middle East and beyond.
Senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram with the perspective there. Chad, thank you very much.
Thank you.